There's something sacred about an old kitchen in the early morning. The light was softer back then, catching the rim of a Pyrex bowl glinting off the chrome toaster. You'd hear the radio crackle, the hum of a percolator, and the scrape of butter across toast. Breakfast in the 1950s wasn't rushed. It was a gesture, a promise that no matter how hard the day might be, it would begin with something warm. You didn't need much. A little flour, some eggs, whatever fruit was still good. These weren't gourmet creations, but they were dependable and made with love. They fed big families and empty wallets, early risers and sleepy kids with rumpled hair. Let's revisit that warmth. The quiet joy of a creaky floor, a full coffee cup, and a plate passed with a smile. Let's remember what breakfast used to be. 30 simple, soulful recipes from a time when things weren't perfect, but somehow still felt just right. 1. Deviled eggs with paprika. Creamy yolks whipped with mustard and mayonnaise, nestled back into their whites, finished with a shake of paprika, cold, tangy, and deeply nostalgic. Always the first tray emptied. They tasted like Sunday and looked like effort, even if they took just minutes. 2. Funeral potatoes. Cheesy hash browns mixed with cream of chicken soup, sour cream, and onions, topped with crunchy cornflakes and baked golden. It wasn't just for funerals, it was for comfort. Every bite felt like a warm hug, and you always went back for more. 3. Strawberry pretzel salad. A salty, crushed pretzel crust, layered with sweet cream cheese and strawberry Jell-O, filled with fruit. This salad blurred the line between dessert and side dish. Refreshing, cool, and sugary, it sparkled in a glass dish and brought joy to potlucks. 4. Macaroni salad. Tender elbow macaroni, diced celery, pickles, peas, and pimento in a mayonnaise dressing. Served cold with love. A bowl of it sat at every gathering and somehow always disappeared. Simple, creamy, and oddly satisfying, even if you weren't sure what was in it. 5. Ham loaf with pineapple rings. Ground ham mixed with breadcrumbs and eggs, baked with a brown sugar glaze and pineapple slices on top. Sweet, salty, retro, and filling. It wasn't pretty, but it was passed around like it was precious, sliced thin and served with pride. 6. Lime Jell-O with shredded carrots. Neon green gelatin studded with grated carrots, sometimes raisins too. Sweet, strange, and oddly refreshing. It wiggled on the plate like it had a personality. Everyone took a scoop, mostly out of curiosity. It was more about the memory than the flavor. 7. Broccoli rice casserole. Cooked white rice, frozen broccoli, and cheddar cheese bound with cream of mushroom soup, baked until bubbly. Cheesy and comforting, it clung to the spoon like it wanted to be remembered. A staple in any church hall spread worth its salt. 8. Ambrosia salad. Mini marshmallows, mandarin oranges, coconut, sour cream, or Cool Whip, served chilled in vintage glass bowls. It was sweet enough to be dessert, but it came out with the main course. You didn't question it, you just kept scooping. 9. Cornbread casserole. Canned corn, jiffy mix, sour cream, butter, baked to a soft, custardy finish, somewhere between bread and pudding. It was always warm, always buttery, and never lasted long. The golden edges were the best part, scraped clean by hungry forks. 10th, pineapple upside-down cake. Pineapple rings and maraschino cherries layered over brown sugar and melted butter, topped with vanilla cake batter. Flipped and served warm, sticky, sweet, and showy. It looked like sunshine in dessert form and tasted like someone baked just for you. 11th, baked spaghetti. Spaghetti tossed with tomato sauce and cheese, mixed with beaten eggs, then baked in a casserole dish. It sliced like lasagna and smelled like Sunday. Crispy on the edges, cheesy in the middle. Always more filling than you expected. 12th, cheese ball with Ritz crackers. Cream cheese blended with dried beef, chives, and spices, rolled in chopped pecans, served proudly with a ring of buttery crackers. It was creamy, salty, and festive. You spread it thin, but somehow always came back for a second, thicker swipe. 13th, Waldorf salad. Chopped apples, celery, grapes, and walnuts tossed in mayo or whipped dressing, served cold in crystal bowls. Sweet, crunchy, tangy, and a bit mysterious. It looked fancy, even if it came from a plastic container, a salad that wore pearls. 14. 7-layer salad. Lettuce, peas, eggs, bacon, cheese, tomatoes, and creamy dressing layered in a clear bowl. Colorful and proud. Each scoop dug through history. Crispy bacon at the top, mayo dressing in the middle, crunch at the bottom. Beautiful to see, better to eat. 15. Sloppy Joe sliders. Ground beef and ketchup mustard sauce spooned onto soft dinner rolls. Tangy, juicy, and messy in the best way. Paper napkins weren't enough. Sweet and warm, with a smell that pulled people toward the food table. Your fingers stayed sticky afterward. 16th. Chicken and dressing casserole. Shredded chicken layered with boxed stuffing and cream soup. Sometimes celery, sometimes love. Baked until golden and steaming. Smelled like Thanksgiving. Felt like comfort. Served in big scoops that slid from the spoon. Not pretty, but never forgotten. 17. Banana pudding with vanilla wafers. Sliced bananas layered with vanilla pudding and cookies, topped with whipped cream or meringue. Served chilled, the cookies softened, the bananas sweetened, and every bite felt like a hug from your grandma. Scooped from a trifle dish with quiet reverence. 18. Sweet tea by the gallon. Brewed strong, loaded with sugar, chilled and served in styrofoam cups. Sometimes lemon, often not. So sweet it made your teeth ache. So familiar it made your heart ache too. Refills weren't requested. They were silently expected. 19. Green bean casserole. Canned green beans, cream of mushroom soup, and fried onions. Mixed, baked, topped, repeated. Crunchy, creamy, and absolutely essential. There was always someone who claimed they hated it until they took a bite. Then they asked for seconds. 20. Chicken salad sandwiches on white bread. Chopped chicken, mayo, relish or celery, piled onto soft white bread with the crust cut off. Served cold, squishy, creamy, and elegant in its simplicity. The kind of thing you only noticed after it was gone. 21. Scalloped potatoes. Thinly sliced potatoes baked in a creamy cheese sauce until bubbling and golden brown on top. The smell alone drew a line at the buffet. Soft, rich, and cheesy with a browned edge you'd fight your cousin for. It was a church classic, hearty, and always gone first. 22. Grape salad with pecans. Seedless grapes tossed in a tangy sweet mix of cream cheese and sour cream, topped with brown sugar and chopped pecans. Cold, crunchy, sweet, and slightly decadent. It was called a salad, but everyone knew it was dessert wearing a disguise, especially the kids who snuck seconds. 23. Hot chicken salad casserole. Shredded chicken mixed with mayo, celery, cheese, and crushed potato chips on top, baked until the top was golden and the inside creamy. A strange idea that somehow worked beautifully. It warmed your belly and surprised newcomers every time with its crispy, creamy contrast. 24. Cucumber and onion salad. Thin cucumber slices with onions soaked in vinegar, water, sugar, and salt. Ice cold and bracing. It cut through the richness of every other dish on the table. Served in old glass bowls and spooned out by the ladleful. Refreshing, tangy, and unmistakably homemade. 25. Chocolate sheet cake with fudge icing. A rich, moist chocolate cake baked in a sheet pan, topped with a warm, pourable fudge icing that set like silk. Cut into squares and served on paper plates. You could eat 3 pieces and still want more. One of the most anticipated desserts on the table. 26. Stuffed celery with pimento cheese. Celery stalks filled with tangy pimento cheese or seasoned cream cheese. Crunchy, creamy, slightly spicy. The kind of snack you ate one after another while standing near the food table. Simple, southern, and strangely addictive. Always lined up neatly on a vintage floral tray. 27. Jell-O salad with fruit cocktail. A bright, wobbly block of Jell-O with pieces of canned fruit suspended inside, sometimes topped with Cool Whip or set in a mold. A dessert for kids and a nostalgic bite for the grown-ups who remembered when it first showed up. Loved or hated, never ignored. 28. Baked beans with bacon. Canned beans dressed up with brown sugar, mustard, onions, and topped with strips of bacon. Baked until the sauce was thick and the bacon crisp, smoky, sweet, and absolutely essential next to any meat. The smell alone said potluck, and the empty bowl confirmed it. 29. Cold pasta salad with Italian dressing. Tricolor rotini tossed with chopped veggies, cubes of cheese, maybe olives, and bottled Italian dressing. Served cold and best after sitting overnight. Bright, tangy, and colorful. Everyone had a version, and every version got eaten. It was the cool, crunchy counter to all the creamy casseroles. 30. Orange sherbet punch. A church kitchen classic. Orange sherbet floating in a punch bowl with ginger ale and sometimes pineapple juice. Frothy, citrusy, fizzy fun. It wasn't a potluck without that bright orange bowl and a plastic ladle stuck in the middle. Sweet sips and sherbet smiles all around. Potlucks were never just about food. They were about showing up, giving what you had, and making others feel welcome. Even now, the memory lingers. In a recipe card, a familiar smell, a shared dish. These meals were small acts of love, so bring one back. Tell its story. Which one do you remember?